All right, and welcome to this latest webinar release about our latest software release for PrebuiltML or associated brands. And this is for version 4.18.0.3888, or perhaps a version or two higher as different things have been released and added to. Lots of exciting things that are available in this release that we want to get out to you. So jumping right in here, we're going to head over to the Profile tab. On the Profile tab, on Formulas, you'll notice that we've added in the ability for you to import and export your settings. So if you want to take these particular formula set of settings out to a different template or a different project or so on, you have that ability to now import and export there. Jumping back over to the project tab, and also related to a few other areas, we've added in labor applications. So you'll notice here, if we come to this, I'm going to add a pack, and then we now have a labor pack. And I'm going to add some applications to that, and we can see we have various different types of labor that are added and available. So you make use of those. Some of this you could have actually accomplished on your own previously, but we've specifically added them in here so that you can keep track of those. And those will just report out like any other product type of item on your material report to have different quantities. We've also added different products in, like this labor hours, where you can actually specify labor types in particular. So if you wanted to report out onto your report in that way, you can do that as well. To take advantage of that, you would need to have us update your template file. So be sure to reach out to us at support@PrebuiltML.com, and we can update your template file with the latest database information so that you can get those labor applications, as well as other updates that we've made along the way, adding additional products in there, such as Simpson products and some of their latest manufacturing opportunities there. Also to be aware, if you want to make that available in certain packs, so like a main wall pack, you would need to come to Profile and come to Containers and come to the particular pack you want to add those labor applications to, and then you can select them from here, application sort order, and move them in here. And if you have any questions on that, we can always help you that at support as well. Jumping back over to the project tab, some other features that we've added in related to reports. And that's the ability to now combine packs that have the same name. So in this case, I have house, this one right here, this house list, and I have house 2. And maybe I want to run a report on both of these, and I want any of the packs that are the same name to combine. So right now with previous behavior, if I was to run just a standard report with house 1 and house 2, I'm going to get that list, and you'll see we've got all my house materials. Here's the packs with house, and then scrolling down, we'll see we get down further to our house 2 packs. Further down here, there's our house 2 packs. So now I'm going to adjust my report settings, come here to edit, and I'm going to say I want this to combine packs of the same name. So click OK. And so now when I go to run this report, any of those packs that had the same name, identical matches, they will be combined into the same pack. So now you can see my main floor materials references not just house, it's actually house and house 2 combined together into a single spot. So this will work on reports that you do across lists. This would also be true if you turn that setting on, that if you had packs that were the same name over here, even in the same list, those also would combine together. So potentially you could also leverage that even in the context of the same list. So report setting, being able to combine packs of the same name as a report option. Moving from there, going over to the ability to delete items. Sometimes we found that people want to remove a large section of items all at once. So you can now actually select multiple items. You can see here this particular top item is selected as orange, and I'm going to go down and maybe I want to get rid of all these wall assemblies all at once. So I'm going to hold down Shift on my keyboard and select that whole range. I could also use Control and deselect some or add some more to my selection, just kind of like you do it typically in a file manager. But with all these selected, you can see that the delete button is still available. I can choose to delete, confirm that, and then all of those go away while still leaving my other applications here in the list. So easier way to clear out large sections of data in a particular pack without necessarily having to lose all of that information from your pack. Okay, moving on to one of the most exciting features in this release, and actually, in my opinion, one of the most exciting features that we've released in quite some time, and really excited to get it out to you guys. And that's the ability for you to have more control over your wall assemblies and things that go along with it. So I'm going to come over here to this pack just to show you a little bit. I'm going to come over here to my main wall, and I've got this different wall assembly. I've named it my 4-inch exterior wall with stuff. And you'll see if I open it up that not only do I have all the typical wall assembly applications, you can see I've got additional items down here. So in this case, I have some sill seal that's being driven off of the total length of the wall. I have fire blocking, and you can see right now that this has been set up in a way that I'm not getting any right now. And notice that I've marked it as fire blocking above 9 feet. So if I was to have a wall that was, say, 10 feet, notice that now I'm going to get that row of additional blocking material that's added in. Miscellaneous connectors. Maybe I want to have a placeholder here associated with my wall so that if I have some shear wall requirements, I need to put a clip in, or is maybe some bearing plates or other things like that, I can select them. And once I select them, they automatically come in here at, the linear footage divided by 4. So you can see these types of, for those of you who are seasoned PrebuiltML users, you might say, well, this looks a lot like a kit, and in very many ways it is. It's still just a wall assembly, so there's a difference still between wall assemblies and kits, but essentially we've added into wall assembly the ability to add additional line items and then assign equations and things to that. To do that, come over here to the Profile tab, come across to your wall assemblies, and then you'll find your wall assembly set here. You can either create new ones, copy existing ones, or edit the existing ones. Here I'm going to come here to my one that I've already started, my exterior wall with stuff. Click on the Edit button, and you can see down here that I've got these additional applications down here. You can come and click on the plus button to add more. So I'm going to click on this, and you'll notice that pretty much the entire application list that you might want to add in here, including even some of these new labor hours that we've made available, are available to be added into. So for example, if I wanted to add in, like, say, a labor application for framing, I could pick that and click OK, and I could set it up so that I'm driving some level of hours based on the linear footage of wall, or however it is that I want to calculate that. So you can set the formulas and so on. So a lot of the different capabilities when it comes to things like if statements and matching different items above. Now you'll notice also when you come here to the formula that you have a lot of options here to reference. So a little bit different than kits, quite an extensive amount, and these are gonna, if you mouse over them, you're gonna find out what it is that these reference. It's pretty clear on most of them, but it's basically gonna be those various different input options that might come in the wall assembly itself, whether that's like just the linear footage of framing, or maybe it's the linear footage if it's sheathed, and so on and so forth, the square footage of wall. So lots of things that you can reference off of that actual measurement that you make. So a ton of flexibility here of what you can do and where you can take it with your wall assemblies. So again, super excited to get that out to you. And if you have questions about how to leverage that, use that more, then just let us know. But making the statement obvious that obviously this is going to be changes that you would want to make into your template itself. That way, as you adjust these changes and make them there, then they'll be available for all your future projects. Final couple features that are really kind of a follow-on from this wall assembly tool, because some of you who maybe have a keen eye, you might have noticed that it's like, well, okay, that's an interesting feature with being able to add sill seal, but what happens if I only use part of a roll? So like in this case, I have a 50-foot roll, but this wall is only 20 feet long, and I'm gonna have a lot of waste left over. So this is where we've introduced the idea for you to have control of your decimal output. So in this case, if I was to hit Control P and just look at this report, you can see what I've got is my sill seal that I'm getting. I have 6 rolls of sill seal that are going on to this now, and that's from these 3 different walls. And you can see here, if I look at these walls, I'm getting 1 roll from here, and I'm getting 3 rolls from here, and at the end of the day, then I'm getting another 2 rolls from here. So I'm getting 6 rolls. But the reality is I probably don't need that much. I only, have, that much linear footage. So what we want to be able to do is for the things that it makes sense, turn on the ability for things to be reported in a decimal format so that as you report across different line items, such as different wall assemblies or other things that are across different line items or different pages, you can sum those up into, with the more of a decimal value. So jumping over to the Profile tab, come to Formulas, we've introduced this new column for decimal output. Now, what I don't recommend is coming and just checking this box on for all of these things, because I don't think you're going to want decimals everywhere. But there's going to be some specific cases where that might be useful. So that CIL option, for example, it's a great opportunity for saying, well, I want to combine all those, different roll measurements across so that I'm not sending too many rolls. So I'm going to come down here specifically to CIL, and I'm going to say I'm going to check this box on. And now I'm allowed decimal output. So when I come back here and I take a look, even in my list and expand this, I can see now instead of setting a whole roll, I'm just sending, half a roll in that case. Or maybe in this longer one, I'm sending, instead of sending 3 rolls, I'm sending 2.1. And so then those are going to sum up in the actual output. So when I hit Control P, look at the actual report, and those goes across all those lines. Now, instead of sending that 6 rolls, I'm sending 3.9, or we might do the math in our head and say, I got that equals 4, so I'll send 4 of those. Now, from that point, I'm sure there's some of you who are asking the question like, well, but what if that's nice to be able to sort of do that decimal amount that goes across, all those different line items, and then gets me to my total, but I still would prefer to see just a rounded up amount. Okay, yeah, and we've introduced a couple other options for you to handle that. So, and that comes in a couple different places. One is in a report style. Now, we introduced this one with caution, partly because we knew that you guys would want to be able to see a rounded output. But we say with caution because just want you to be aware that as you use this feature, there's a potential for some slight differences in reports. So if we come here to reports though, and I'm going to come to my standard roll-up report here, and I'm going to say I want to, here's the option, round up decimal values. So I'm going to click here, click OK. And if I hit Control P, or actually I look at that, view that report now, using that I've made that report setting change. Now I'm going to come down here. Oh, actually, no, I didn't want to do that. Let's edit that. Let's just go for and just use the current selected list. All right, it's a little easier to see. All right, so we're gonna come down here to that same list. And so once again, now you can see I've got, instead of that 3.9, I've got that 4. So it's rounded that up. Now, if you're wondering, it's like, well, where exactly is that gonna fall apart? Well, if you had multiple lines of CIL across different packs here, you can imagine, then if we rounded those up within each individual pack level, that all still makes sense. But then if you were to run a different report, say a direct ship list, across the entire project, so now you've taken all of those decimal items from across a whole bunch of different packs, so you've combined them together, and potentially, not always, but potentially, you might actually arrive at a smaller number that then gets rounded up. So instead of you seeing a consistent number across all your reports, it is possible in a specific set of circumstances that a itemized list will deliver a number that is larger than a direct ship list, that as far as the actual quantities. So in many cases, for a lot of you, it may not matter. We shouldn't say probably, I should say it may not matter in many cases. But we wanted you to be aware of that does potentially introduce where the reports themselves might have slightly different quantities. And so that might be why you choose to not force that rounding up and instead just do that ultimate math in your head at the end and say, when you say 3.9, it's like, okay, that means 4. But made that option available to you so you could, as they say, control your own destiny. Finally, you might also find that instead of wanting to do that at the report level, perhaps what you would prefer is like, well, I want all my reports to, show those decimal values and I can work with that. But if I get to the point where I want to export it out to the point of sale, the PID file level, and maybe your point of sale import or export won't tolerate a decimal value. Like it's just expecting to find a whole number. So that's the other alternative that we provided to you. Again, as soon as you introduce rounding, that opens up doors for where things may not always be as consistent across all reports because of where the rounding is done. But nonetheless, if we come to tools, come to settings, I'm going to turn on my PID file. Okay, we'll just set that up. And we've introduced a new option here when it comes to the item down below. So you can see here for the SKU that's referenced here. So this box right here, which is round up. So basically, at the time that you're making this, so your report will still show as you export it out, the initial amount or quantity will still be that decimal value. But then in the amount that actually goes out to the point of sale system itself, it will force up any rounding that didn't happen yet. It'll round that up for you so that it will allow the export and import in essence to be successful. So we've introduced that opportunity there at that level. So once again, that's a review of the different features that are available in 4.18.0. And again, super excited about a lot of these features and the opportunities that they afford to you, our users. If you have any feedback on them, things that you would like to see expanded even further, love to hear about those and how things can be better. Or if you just have ideas about, how could things be better for other dimensions of the program, always welcome your feedback. Love to get that from you. So thanks for tuning in today, and we look forward to getting these things out to you and receiving your feedback. Have a good afternoon.